told you so. Okay, now I can start with recording. So again, this is Vaccine from the System Office. We are beginning with session 3 of the fiscal year 2017-18 state grant guidelines webinar/meeting. We've already had session 1 and 2, and we're continuing on with session at this time. Now I'm going to start off with roll call. Before we start with the session. CDC?
Ken here. We're here.
Western?
Here. We're here.
Southwest?
You're here.
Man?
We're two.
Fox?
Here.
Okay.
Here.
Lucky Shaw? Milwaukee? Milwaukee?
Here.
Park?
Here.
Laker? Here. Excuse me, Fox Valley? NWTC?
Here. Here.
Mid-State?
Here.
C? Lake?
Here.
Nicholas here. Hi.
That's the one I've heard so far. WITC?
We're here. Here.
Caliber Nomination?
Here.
Lacutre? Okay. We are going to begin with this afternoon session on state grants. Just a reminder that the applications for the state grants are due by January 20th at 4 o'clock to the grants email, with the exception of apprentice-related instruction and WAT grants, which cycle on a different schedule. See, we're going to take through the list of grant categories and provide an overview of highlights and changes from the last cycle. First off, we're going to start with apprentice-related instruction.
This is Nancy Nicole, Education Director for Apprenticeship, Architecture, and Construction, as well as the Grant Manager for the apprenticeship-related grants under the GPR funds, or state grants. In the last 2 years, there is $500,000 available between 2 different funds for apprentice-related instruction. However, there were no changes to the fund amount or between the 2 separate purposes of the apprenticeship-related instruction funds for 2016-17, for 2017-18. So it's pretty much was this year. There is one change that is noted on this slide. As you can see, it's just the removal of some unnecessary match language that was included in both the system-wide apprenticeship curricula and direct instruction support grant categories. So just to go back to that, as I said, the funds are available for 2 purposes, and those 2 primary purposes are support of development and maintenance of system-wide curriculum for apprenticeship programs, and the other purpose is to help districts with funding for direct instruction support when there is an unanticipated budgetary expenditure due to either expansion or contraction of apprenticeship. Unlike other programs, apprentices can be signing up for school shortly before a semester starts, so there's funds available specifically to help districts reply and respond to that continuing demand. These are invitation-only grants, and although it's not stated in the guidelines themselves, the typical time frame for discussion, solicitation, discussion, and negotiation of how these funds will be used is done in the time frame between May and September of each year. So we just finished up grant allocations for 16-17 this month. The funds are actually allocated, approved via the Apprenticeship Coordinators Council, which is one district representative from each of the colleges, along with myself, and then we take it up the chain of command here for approval, but other than that, it's a very democratic but somewhat messy process. of allocating these particular grant funds.
We will begin with career pathways.
Thank you, Valerie. This is Mark Johnson and
Ann Westrick. Good afternoon, everyone.
Ann and I jointly oversee the career pathways category, which of course I think is the best of all the grant categories. And just a couple of comments. First, on the next slide, first of all, you can see our contact information, and then on the next slide, you can see the purpose, which has remained the same. It's important that people understand that purpose. We have stuck with the purpose and that definition of career pathways. And on the next slide, there's a couple of points we want to make, and then